Hey, Jen.
Hey Em, how you doing?
Living the dream, baby. How you doing?
I'm surviving.
Don't
You
those two things mean the same thing, basically?
probably. I think they're
Right?
probably also they're like up for interpretation, you know? Everyone
Mm.
survives in different ways. Everyone
Wait,
lives different dreams.
this is not a paid promotion for the record.
Okay.
I am not paid, or nor was I sent this for free, although I would take it for free. But one of our amazing clinicians, Haley, the fucking best, got a case of orange cream Coca-Cola.
Wow. Is it good?
And it's maybe one of the most delicious things I've ever
I didn't I
tasted.
didn't even know that was a thing. Didn't even know that was a thing.
And so I have to give it up, although I kind of feel like there's a possibility Coke isn't super ethical these days. I'm not sure. Don't cancel me for this, but it's really fucking good.
It's great to know. I don't know if we have the same taste in soda, but
You don't think you'd like an orange cream soda?
I don't know.
Okay.
Doesn't do it for me.
Really? Do you not like a creamsicle? I love a creamsicle.
No, I don't. Listen,
Really?
we have different tastes.
What?
You don't like peanut butter.
I don't like peanut butter. But mine isn't about the taste of peanut butter. You know what mine's about.
Texture.
Mine is about that when I was a kid, my dad told me the way they got Mr. Ed the horse. And if you don't know who Mr. Ed is, you're too
Oh,
young. Google it.
Mr. Ed.
Watch Mr. Ed the horse to talk like that is because they put peanut butter in his mouth. And for some reason, that has stayed with me. I don't know if it felt like animal abuse. I don't know if it felt like just like texture sensory. And ever since then, so it's not even the taste. I don't mind the taste of peanut butter,
Wow.
but
That
Mr.
was
Ed,
like
that horse,
that like really, really stuck with you. Stuck with you. Like the peanut butter stuck in his mouth.
dun, dun,
Wow.
dun.
Um,
Good job, Jen.
Thank you so much. We have an intro question.
Okay. That's
Wh-
not about my orange cream soda.
No, no, but thank you for that. So everyone should try it. The intro question is, what is your airport arrival timing on a scale of way too early to almost missing the flight?
Am I traveling with my family and kid or am I traveling by myself?
Either one. I would like both answers.
If I'm with my family, we're there very early
Okay.
because my husband's real serious. He's holding everyone's passport. He's ready.
Yeah.
We all have TSA pre-check that he made us get.
Cool.
He's very serious about the travel. If I'm by myself, do I have to eat beforehand? Is the question.
I mean, of course. I feel like in an airport, like how could you not?
It
I
depends.
love I love eating. I love chilling in an airport if I'm being honest.
Okay, well, if you're in the Philadelphia airport, though, it really depends on what terminal you're flying out of and
Oh
what you're
yeah.
eating.
So true.
Because yeah, I mean, if you're in Terminal A, of course, it's fucking amazing. There's lots of things. Terminal B, even very solid. Terminal E, what's yours? You don't have
I'm
TSA pre-check.
no, I don't.
And I don't know why you don't.
I am way too early. My husband always says, because
You are.
I make him leave early too. My husband is always like, "What are you gonna help them like set up the plane? You're gonna help them clean up?"
You traveling with Jen is really
I
you're early
am
to everything.
so anxious. I've gotten a little better because my husband is like so late. And so we've had to like meet in the middle a little bit. And so
But you're not even checking a bag either. You don't check bags, right? I don't check a bag.
it depends where I'm going. But still, either
Even when you went when I went to Thailand for 2 weeks, I didn't check a fucking bag.
okay, that's insane. Would you
I mean,
backpack? You
yeah.
wear like two pairs of underwear the whole time?
I don't wear underwear. You know that.
That's what it is.
That's where I'm saving all
That
the
is where you're saving your room. Okay.
100%. That's where I'm saving all my fucking room. No
Okay, now
underwear.
this makes a lot of sense. But yeah, I am so early, but every time we get there, uh, they'll be like, okay, it's probably only going to take, I'm going to guess that we are going to get out of the security in like 20 minutes. And I'm like, yeah, sure. And we always do. Like it's always fine.
It's always fine.
I know.
But also, why don't you have listen? I'm gonna make doing a lot of endorsements today. I'm gonna endorse TSA pre-check. It is the easiest process to get pre-check.
Yeah.
And it's like you have it for like 5 years or something.
I should get it. I had an appointment and then something came up. I'm sure business related. I had to do something. Okay.
Wait, like your spray tan on your calendar, I've watched you cancel and reschedule
Yes.
10 times over the
Yep.
past month.
Yep. And I'm supposed to get it tomorrow. We'll see. Time will tell. That's why I'm a pale bitch for all these recordings. I kept being like, I want to look tan for these in-person recordings. Nope. I had things. I had things to do.
I have watched you move that calendar appointment 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We'll
I'm
see
like,
if it happens
will
tomorrow.
she ever go? Should I take your appointment?
Maybe you would have to come into Philly, but I'm busy. I've had things to do. Okay. I think tomorrow's the day. Time will tell.
Well, TSA pre-check, it is well worth it. Although I even think even my husband has like global entry. I don't know what the difference is. I feel like you have like a whole FBI interview.
You do. I'm
I don't
pretty sure you do.
What are they asking me? Are you a terrorist?
Maybe. I mean, I don't know.
Also, you have to understand when I'm somebody who does not do well in like an interview like that or a funeral or something, like I'm laughing a lot. So like I am looking, yeah, I am not looking innocent.
Like when you come back into the country and they're like, "Oh, what were you there for?" And you're like, "I don't know. I don't know." All of a sudden, you're like, so it's like you've done something terribly wrong.
Cocaine.
You're like so stressed out.
It's like when you're going through TSA every time, you were like, what are they going to find?
Right. It's like all of a sudden, or like
that heroin
that dog that comes around, starts sniffing your bag. You're like, oh my God, the dog is going to find something. Right. You like,
no matter what,
constantly feel like you're in trouble or going to get in trouble. What do you think what do you think's going on with us?
I don't know. Wait, I think most people feel that way. No,
I don't know. Let's see. Tell us. Do you feel that way?
Do
you get nervous? Is it just us?
Okay, but we'll get to the topic of the actual day. Today's episode, who am I when no one's watching? Unpacking the difference between who you really are and who you think you should be. Who I am versus who I think I should be. I think I should be perfect. Who I am is very human and imperfect. So these two things really collide for me.
Yeah. Do you think that that's changed over time for you, or still, like, do you feel like you've kind of let those parts go?
Well, like here's an example, right? Like when I had my daughter, I was so obsessed with having all the right stuff and having, being so prepared. And then you do it the second time and you're like, that shit's not going to help you.
Okay.
having that perfect bouncer at 3 a.m. it's not doing anything.
Not doing a thing. This time around.
Yeah. So I do feel like with life experience, you just, you become so much more aware of the limits.
Yeah.
Of who you are as a human and like what your capability is. But I think I'm someone who holds myself to a very, very high standard. And then, yeah, I feel like the more you live, the easier it is to be like, that's just literally so impossible for me to do.
Well, it feels almost like, I think part of that is like, okay, we feel like we have to hit these benchmarks or like be this type of person. And that is going to lead to some sort of success in some way or lead to some sort of happiness and then you don't reach those standards, you don't reach those benchmarks, and you realize like, oh, I can make it through that. And like, oh, I can still be happy. And so I almost think, we hold this idea of who we should be as a way to protect ourselves, or control the direction that our life is going to go in.
Yeah.
And then the more that life happens, you realize like, okay, I think I'm okay. I'm okay if I'm human. I'm okay if I'm imperfect.
Yeah.
It's okay if things aren't in my control. It's scary, but it's okay.
One of my favorite things my therapist always says to me is hero to some, villain to others, and responsible to no one. And right, what she means by that is that like at the end of the day, people write whatever story they want to write about you.
Mm-hmm.
So this idea about who I should be, one, first of all, whose voice is that? Where is it coming from? Right. For a lot of us, it's from society or our parents or our siblings or childhood friends. Like we got this idea about where the should came from. But at the end of the day, you could be, quote unquote, all the right things and people could still write some story about you they want
Right.
in whatever way they want that you have no control over. And so you're right. I think that controlling or being so obsessed with the should or being so obsessed with shoulds is a way of controlling.
Yes. Yeah. Like if I am this perfect person, then no one will be able to write a different type of story about me.
I can control it.
I can control it.
And then I won't get abandoned. I won't be unloved. I won't end up alone.
And what happens is really you're abandoning yourself by forcing yourself into this box or
Mm,
saying, I need to be this type of person that I'm really not, right? And leads to anxiety, leads to depression. Like, I can never live up to this standard that I've set for myself. Um, and so, the fear of other people abandoning us, um, it really leads to a disconnection of self.
yeah.
Should we get into some questions?
Yeah. So somebody had said, have you been sitting in my therapy sessions? This is getting weird. We are. We've all bugged it. It's
Yes.
all bugged.
We're in all of
Um,
your therapy sessions. Could you imagine?
or maybe what that tells you is we're not all so different.
Yeah. Wow.
Right. Like I was just talking to one of our clinicians earlier, and she was like, how do you guys how do you come up with all the topics for the podcast? And I was like, listen, Jen and I have this conversation every week, which is that like, are people bored yet? Like we feel like we often talk about the same thing. And then I was like, oh, but you'll have those days, you'll have like 6 back-to-back clients in a row. And you're like, wow, I ended up talking about a really similar theme in all of these sessions.
Yeah.
And I think that mainly tells us that we're not so different.
Yeah.
So, and yes, we've bugged your office. Okay. So next question. How do you battle the shoulds when others are in a season of life you're not? I think this is a really big one that we feel in a huge way. 20s, 30s, 40s, right? Of like, okay, other people are married or other people have kids or other people are getting promoted at their like jobs, whatever that is. And it feels like, well, that's where I should be. And for the most part, it would be impossible for us to all be in the same place. Right? Like highly unlikely we're all doing this at the exact same time.
Yeah.
Um, but it doesn't hurt less or change it less.
Yeah. Yeah. And as human beings, we're built to compare ourselves to other people, that it's almost a sort of built in survival mechanism for us. If I compare, then I can know what I need to do in order to survive and grow. Um, However, that's not serving us in the ways it once did from an evolutionary perspective.
Mm,
And so, if you recognize that comparing yourself to other people is making you feel bad about it's demotivating you in a lot of ways. I think that's a big one too, is we feel like, okay, if I compare, then maybe it'll give me some motivation to like do, to work harder at work or um, change my life or be this person that I don't feel like
mhm.
I connect to, when in reality it typically ends up with us feeling bad about ourselves and demotivated. And really what we know from the amazing Kristen Neff is that self-compassion is the thing that really leads to a level of motivation, that looking inward saying, well, where am I right now? What space am I in? And how can I accept that about myself? And you could still want different things, right? But do it based on you, not based on other people.
Yeah. Um, Someone said, what about dealing with other people who think you should be XYZ and then disappointing them? Okay, so what happens if you disappoint people is the question, right? What's our fear about disappointing people? What do we feel like it says about us? What do we feel like it says about the relationship if that happens? Um, Inevitably, people will have expectations for us that we cannot meet,
Yeah.
right? Let's say that you have parents who really want you to have children. You're not interested in that, right? Your parents have waited their whole lives to be grandparents, and then you decide I actually would like to be child free. That's really tough because you don't owe it to them to have kids, and still they can have disappointment. Can we separate those things?
Oh, that's so good. This idea that people can be disappointed and we can still make choices for ourselves that lead
Yeah.
to their disappointment.
Well, and it doesn't matter that they're wrong, right? Like if your parents want grandkids and they're disappointed, that doesn't make them horrible fucking people.
Right. They're
It
allowed
means
to feel that way.
it means they had a vision of what life was going to look like that isn't coming true. It's not coming to fruition. That makes sense.
Hmm. And because your parents are human beings, they're acting in the same way that like we all do, and why this episode is relevant is that they have shoulds for themselves, right? I should be a grandparent. This is how my life is going to go. I'm going to control this piece of it. However,
All my friends are in their 70s and have grandparents, right?
right.
It doesn't
It,
stop.
right. The comparing, right? The
Yeah.
comparing is still happening for them, and they're human. And so, just as Emily said, can you sit with, I can make this decision for myself and it's going to disappoint people.
Mm-hmm.
And both things can be true. And it doesn't mean I'm bad, doesn't mean your parents are bad, doesn't mean whoever's feeling disappointed is bad. It's just the reality. And can you stay connected to one another and sit with that disappointment?
Yeah. I really like this one. Why is it so hard to go against the grain, even when it's very obviously the best choice for yourself? We talk about this a ton, but sometimes we have a right choice and a smart choice. And I have to tell you that going on an evolutionary biological perspective, going with the crowd and going with the grain is always a smart choice. It gives us more community. It doesn't mean it's a right choice.
Right.
But if, like on a like an evolutionary perspective, right? It keeps us with the crowd. It keeps us with everyone else.
We're safe.
We're safe, right? And so that's a really smart choice, is safety. It does not mean that it is the right choice for you. And sometimes that's very obvious, and sometimes it's not very obvious in your options. But I think that's an incredibly difficult thing because it makes it extra hard to go against the grain. Being involved in any type of counterculture is going to be difficult.
Oh, God, so true. I like this one. We're going to throw it out there. You ready? Feels like I should be 100% ready to become a mom at my age.
What age is that? Don't you want to know?
Yes. What age?
I don't. You can also be 100% sure that you want to be a parent and still not be 100% ready.
Yes.
I am a parent and I have another baby coming very soon. And I'm like, I said to Jen the other day, I said, I should probably buy a diaper. I should do something.
Yeah.
I don't feel ready to be a mom.
Yeah.
I don't feel ready to be the mom that I am now. Every day I'm like, who's letting me do this? How am I in charge of this rodeo? It's interesting that it feels like, and should. Those are two things that aren't facts.
Yeah.
And they put a tremendous amount of pressure.
I think that's so validating for people too. There's this idea, right, that the only way to become a mom is that like you have to be ready in some way, right? Don't you think there's this like idea of like you have to be ready in order to do it?
Well, I think there's a lot of messaging around like you should definitely be sure, which that's valid, right? Like if you were like, maybe I want to do this, like it is someone else's life. Like I understand really thinking things through, right? We
Yes.
talked about this a lot with scripting exercises of what's the point of being a parent, what do I want to do this. So I understand that to a point, but until you've done something, until you've lived it, how can you be 100% fucking sure on anything?
Yeah. And this, right, there's I think a difference between thinking things through, right, making a decision, and this idea of being ready, right? Like you can say, I want this and I'm nervous about it. You know what I mean? Like I think this idea of like I'm not ready is like coupled with like I'm nervous about this. I don't know what I'm doing. Of course you don't know what you're doing. You've never done it before. So I don't know what this idea of being ready is supposed to feel like, right? I feel like people think it's the only way to be ready is that like I have no nerves. I am, like I know exactly what I'm doing. I don't question myself at all.
I think those people should be worried.
Right. But they won't be.
If you are so sure about anything in your life, maybe be aware of that.
Right. So like you can be questioning, not be, say to yourself, like, I really don't know what I'm doing here. And also say, like, I want this. And I think both things can be true. So that's what I would say is like this idea of not being ready, like, what does that mean to you? Right? Like, are your thoughts about what it means to be ready is that you have no other like challenging feelings about it?
Yeah. Well, or like if I am 100% sure, I'm 100% ready, then I'll be good at it.
Right. Right.
That's not true.
Yeah. You want to shoot down that
Yeah.
myth?
I'm just saying that, like, there's still a learning curve to anything that's new, whether you're 100% sure about it. But I think we like the idea. Okay, well, if I'm sure as shit, then we're not going to have any problems. That's not how this works,
Right.
right?
Right.
Um, someone just said parenting, all of it. I think this is true. I mean, you get a lot of messaging about like what makes a good parent. There, right? Like I think the past, let's say, 5 to 7 years, gentle parenting has been super huge. I think then the internet takes an idea and they oversimplify it as always because the internet is great at taking the nuance out of everything. And then we have parents coming in. We'll have parents coming into therapy sessions and they say like, "Oh God, like, well, I yelled at my kid, or I messed up, or we fought in front of them." I'm like, "Okay, so you're a fucking human." Um, Here is what we do next,
Right.
right? But this idea that I have to be this certain way of who I should be as a parent, and it's just often not who you are. I am not a good parent after 7 o'clock at night. I'm gonna tell you that right now. That is not when I thrive as a mom.
Right.
You know when I thrive? 8 a.m., 7 a.m. Everything, I would say 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Solid mom. See you later after that, right? Like I am not good at night. I'm very tired at night. You know me, I go to bed at like fucking 8 o'clock, right?
Early
So the
bird.
nights that my daughter is just like, can I have another book? Can I have another drink? Can I have a bit of blah? I have to say to her, you want to know what? Mommy's gonna have to let you fall asleep by yourself tonight because I'm not gonna be able to be a good mommy tomorrow if I don't get good sleep.
Such a good message.
I can't. I simply cannot do it.
Right, right.
It's not good for you. It's not good for me. I understand that might not give her enough security and attachment as the internet tells me. I don't give a fuck.
Right, right.
I'll pay for her therapy one day. I don't know. If that is what is fucking her up the most, we will handle that shit in adulthood. But it's definitely going to be worse if I am screaming at 8 o'clock at night because I'm so depleted. That I don't think that one's better for us.
So, how did you get to that place of being able to, right? Because you go from this place of, I should be an amazing mom at all times. I should have it all, like I can't be, I have no space to be human. I have no space to like have low patience. How did
Yeah.
you go from that to where you are now to be able to say, I'm not, I can't parent well after 7 and here's what I need to do.
Well, I think that I'm really big into co-regulation. I think that that works. I really believe in that, for me, if my child is deregulated, I have to be the regulator for them. That being said, the expectation for me to be regulated at all times is literally fucking impossible for me. I would rather walk away when I'm dysregulated and I can't do that than try to fake it and then it get worse. Um, so where to come from? You know what? I will also say my mom is pretty good about boundaries. I have a mom that'll just be like, yeah, I can't do this. And like I do think at some points that was difficult in my childhood, but now as a mom, I'm like, oh man, like that was also like survival,
Yeah.
right? Like my dad traveled a ton. Now my husband travels a lot. And it makes it really difficult when I'm by myself at night. Um, I texted you the other day and I said, she like my daughter's in like a phase where she thinks it's really funny to fart. Like farting is like the funniest. I'm like, listen, farting is funny. I'm not saying it's not. But like, yeah, like, dude, when you're like in your third trimester of your pregnancy, you're exhausted, you're working a ton, and your kid like wants to fart on you all the time. Like, it's not that fucking funny at the time, right? Like,
What are you feeding her? There's a lot of leafy greens in your house.
it's a really big fiber household, okay? But as a reminder, we talk about this with everything. We talk about this in relationships, we talk about this in systems, we talk about this in sex, we talk about it in parenting. Context matters. In the context of a situation is on a Saturday night when we had a chill day and it was lovely and we could play outside all day and she wants to fart on me. I'm like, this is so stupid, but sure. But guess what? On a Monday when I've been by myself all day, my husband is traveling, I have a geriatric dog that can't get up the stairs, is barking at me. It's not fucking funny.
Yeah.
Context matters. And I want my kid to know that.
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
she doesn't occur in a vacuum. I want my daughter to know that she has to learn some amount of attunement to other people.
Yes. Wow. God. Can you be my mom?
Um, okay. Nikki's both of our moms, I
You
thought.
don't have you don't have enough. You
I
don't
don't
have
really have enough capacity to take you on right now.
That's fine. It's okay. I can handle
I think I
it.
have to like wait. You can't get in until one leaves. I got too many
Yeah,
dogs
yeah,
right
that makes
now.
sense. So I'll wait till like right
Yeah.
until when I'm like old and withered.
Yeah.
We'll
Well, listen, and people, nobody likes saying this, but like, I have two dogs, one who is geriatric. It's actually a ton of work to have
yeah.
a dog in their older years that needs a
Yes.
lot of help. I have a 100-pound dog that can't get up and down fucking steps. Who do you think's doing that?
Right. It's
And
you.
then it's like, you're not allowed to say that because they're a pet and we like don't, really understand, dog owners. But like, dude, when you have a dog that's sick and old, like, lot of mental load. Honestly, my 6-year-old is easier than the dogs.
Yeah, yeah. And
She gets it. The dog doesn't. He will fucking bark because he
yes.
can't see
Oh,
shit or hear shit
oh,
until we get him up the
he's
stairs.
so sweet.
My daughter can wait.
And listen, he's so sweet. And also, you are allowed to say that, like
Yeah,
both things are true.
both things are true, right? Okay. After 7 years of infertility, I'm finally due next month at 37 years old. I feel shame around my age and old. My mom had me at 43. Can I just say something? Listen, doctors make you feel very. I'm having a geriatric pregnancy right now. They really do not make you feel good about it.
No, they like
7 fucking years.
I
But
feel like there needs to be different wording around
just
like
old ass
I
baby.
don't yeah,
Like what?
like, yeah,
What wording?
I don't know. But just like maybe like I don't know, later stage. Like there's some it just seems like there's some and correct me if I'm wrong, obviously I'm not in this place, but like it just seems
Later
like
stage does not sound better to
that
me
doesn't
either.
sound better. Okay. We'll ask ChatGPT for some
You
alternates.
should do it like a Betty White pregnancy, like that. Like, give me an icon.
Right. Right. Like
Like,
make it
yeah,
fun.
yeah, like a Helen Mirren pregnancy. Like, give me an icon to go off
Right.
of.
Jane
Here's what I would
Fonda.
say. Fuck yeah.
Love
Okay,
her.
after 7 years of infertility, you have gone through something horrific for 7 years. And now there's a lot of expectations about how you should feel. You should feel grateful. You should feel blessed. You should feel happy. That's not fucking accurate. Um, it's incredibly difficult to be. And the reality is it is harder to be pregnant at 37 than fucking 27, man. I am someone who had for my first daughter at 29. That pregnancy was definitely way easier than this pregnancy, right? So like it is more difficult what you're going through. But the other thing I want you to really keep in mind is that 70% of women that go through infertility will be diagnosed with some type of PTSD.
Mm.
It makes sense that you are struggling. And the shame is most likely bigger than just your age right now. And then that shame is being enforced from our medical system and the expectations you're putting on yourself.
Someone wrote, I feel like I should be productive and working hard all the
That's you.
time. I wrote this in.
Did you write this?
I
Is
figured
this
I
you?
could answer myself. No. Yeah, fair. We live in a culture that really puts that pressure on us. Also, I wonder what your algorithm is on social media. You write down that like productivity algorithm. Um, I will give you this from what I do for myself because I very much struggle with this. I don't have any natural boundaries in work at all. So like
Naturally, they just don't come naturally to
they
you.
don't come naturally. And also, right, so like you go pick up Millie
Yeah, and you don't.
and I don't. And I'm,
You stay
if
working.
I'm I stay working, I'll work from home. I do not have any natural boundaries. And so I have to actively
Yeah.
give them to myself. I have to,
I
yeah, go ahead.
well, I wonder if that is just true for people that are child free in
Yes.
general, right? Because I have a built in boundary every time. You would have to create that for yourself. So maybe you should join a pickleball league. But it's so true. Like mine is like I don't get to work past,
Yeah.
3:30.
You have a natural boundary. I
Yes.
do not. So It's especially if you get
Internally or
or
externally.
I've had it internally. Like I took Louis to the park the other day. That was my boundary. And the thing is, like, if you get a lot of reward from work, like I get a
Yeah.
ton of reward from working. It feels good. I feel like I know how to do it. And if you own a business, there's always more to do. Like
Yeah.
it's not like another thing, there's no natural boundary of like it's not like you finished your day and you're like, I finished everything. Like that's
Yeah.
not a thing. So to really think about creating natural boundaries for yourself or creating, I guess they're not natural if you're creating them, creating boundaries for yourself on a daily basis. What does that look like? So, one of the things
Mm.
that I've done is said, I need to take my dog to the park. When I take my dog to the park, I don't have my computer with me for the most part. Um, I did bring my computer to the park yesterday. I know I have a problem. Um,
Mhm.
so here's my question for this person. I feel like I should be productive and working hard all the time. Um, are you working because you feel like you should, or are you working because you feel like you're getting some sort of reward from it, some benefit from it? I guess my question is like, where's the dissonance between like, I am working constantly because I'm getting a lot out of it, or I'm working constantly because I feel like I should and it's draining me. And it doesn't mean I don't have to. Um, it's not like I'm not doing well at work. Like, what's the kind of separation there? But if you are someone who doesn't have natural boundaries, you need to create them for yourself in whatever way that means. So another thing is like social media, right? If I'm on social media, I'm on our work social media. I have to be like, I need to get off this. So it's
Mhm.
like things that you would typically give you downtime or like bleed into work. You need to create those boundaries for yourself.
Yeah. We have to do dear Em and Jen.
Wow, time flies. You want me to
we both
do
I, we
it?
both took like a big in wait, there was one question we didn't get to that I just need to address because
Okay.
someone said I shouldn't find pleasure in food, and I just want to once again reiterate the deep pleasure I'm finding in this orange cream soda. And there is nothing wrong with finding pleasure in anything in life. life
Wow.
life should be pleasurable. Enjoy food, enjoy sex, enjoy relaxation, enjoy work, right? Like if you get pleasure from something, I don't think that's a bad thing. And that is fine. I feel like, like, right, a soda, very, very villainized thing. Should I drink a lot of them for my health? Probably nobody would say that, but I'm finding deep pleasure in this drink right now, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Okay, now I can do
100%.
Dear John
That's a
then.
great one. Dear Em and Jen, my family has a business that my three older siblings have all joined after college. And there's oh, I don't know why I said college like that. College. College. There's always been an unspoken expectation that I'll do the same. The problem is, I recently realized that I don't want to. I have different
Mm.
passions and dreams, but I know telling them will be a huge disappointment and a deeply uncomfortable conversation. How do I break the news without feeling like I'm betraying them? The first thing I'm going to say is breaking the news. And first of all, congratulations on coming to this
Yeah, wait,
realization.
Leah, wait. First thing, fuck yeah, babe. I love
Proud of
this for
you.
you. Yes, I think that is great. I'm so glad that you're realizing this now as opposed to doing it and then 10 years down the line, you're like, what the
Yes.
fuck did I do?
And like good for you if like the
Yes.
entire family has been a part of this. Sometimes you're like, you don't give yourself the space to be able to be like, well, what do I want? And so the fact that you gave yourself that space is incredible. Um, the second thing I'll say is this conversation that you're about to have might not come with uncomfortable feelings. Chances are it won't come without uncomfortable feelings. And so, as we said before, being able to sit in the discomfort and still advocate for yourself and what you want your life to look like. This is nobody else's life but
Mm-hmm.
yours. Um, it might be, your family might be like, I love doing this. I'm happy I'm doing this. For you, you can have different opinions. You can have different thoughts. You can make different decisions for yourself. Just because everyone expected something of you doesn't mean you need to follow in those expectations.
Yeah. So the question is, right, how do I break the news without feeling like I'm betraying them? I think you have to break the news being detached from their reaction, which I know is an incredibly difficult thing to do. When I say that, what I mean is that you have no control about how they're going to respond to this. And so, even if they're very disappointed or they feel like you're betraying them, somebody can be hurt, and it does not mean we cause them harm. And so, when you break the news, they get to have whatever reaction that they have, and it does not have to sway you. And you also don't have to hear it. You can also say, I know this is a lot. I want to give you some time to process this. And like whenever you're ready to talk about it. So you have to be sure in your decision. And then they're allowed to have whatever reaction. And how do you stand strong in your foundation and your values and your alignment within yourself?
Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of Shrink Chicks.
We'll see you back here next week for another session.
In the meantime, if you want a question answered or a topic discussed, follow us on Instagram at ShrinkChicks. And if you're looking to get connected with a therapist like us to start or continue your therapeutic journey, visit thetherapygroup.com. Just fill out a contact form on our website, and we will personally match you with one of our amazing therapists. And for all of our therapists and group practice owners out there, we also offer group practice consulting.
And if you're looking to support yourself further and support our show, check out our amazing merch options at shrinkchicks.com/merch and our Know Yourself, Grow Yourself journal on Amazon. Also, if you'd be so kind, we'd love a rating review and for you to share with a friend or an enemy or a mother-in-law, honestly, whoever needs it, so that we can keep reaching more people on our mission to bring mental health topics to your ears every week.
Thanks for being here with us. And don't forget, to grow yourself, you got to know yourself.